breaking down cultural boundaries, overcoming trauma, and changing direction to become unlimited. This is the Becoming Unlimited podcast with me, your host, Urvashi, aka Ush. Each week, we'll be discussing various ways in which you can be your best self and learn to dance with the universe. We'll also be chatting to some inspirational women from a diverse range of backgrounds, and I too will share some insight into how I changed my life using the universal laws and a lot of healing. So, let's dive in. Welcome to episode 2 of the Becoming Unlimited podcast. I'm your host Ush, and today I want to talk about this fog that I feel like has finally been lifted from my life after about 18 months. But as usual, I want to start with a little bit of breath. So if you're in a safe space and it is okay to do so, please just close your eyes and take a moment to focus on your body. Feel the seat that you're sat in. Just let your body relax. And take a deep breath in through your nose, all the way down to your stomach and out through the mouth. And in again through your nose, all the way to your stomach and out through the mouth. And on this last breath, I want you to take a full breath in and hold at the top and then breathe out with a big sigh. So let's do it. Take a deep breath in, hold at the top and sigh it out. Oh, incredible. Now, as promised, at the beginning of every solocast, you are going to get one of the universal law cards. And I have just pulled today's card for you. And today's card is the law of transmutation. And it says on the card, energize the mental picture of your dream. Now, I'm using the Spiritual Awakening cards by Dr. Erin Haskell. And let me just read out the book to you. This is the metamorphosis of the ethereal realm into physical reality. Energy is condensed and formed via the mind. So what is held in consciousness must transform into material form. This is a perpetual process because energy is infinite in its expansion. What the mind focuses on informs the creative medium of the universe into action. Energy is incapable of being destroyed, therefore it will take form. Thus, it is imperative to focus on what you want to manifest. Transformation is knocking at your door. Your soul knows that this does not take place out in a world or by changing the circumstances of your life, but rather is an inside miracle. This alchemy is to take place within your consciousness. You were drawn to this card because you have most likely been energizing what you do not want instead of what you do want. You are ready to become a master of energy, directing it for good. The universe desires for you to hold the vision you want for your life within your mind with total conviction. There is no action to be taken until inspired action is revealed within your heart. So, a quick action for you guys today. Practice visioning and holding the mental pictures associated with the feeling you desire when you think about your dreams coming true. So practice visioning and holding the mental pictures associated with the feeling you desire when you think about your dreams coming true. I think this is a really beautiful card for today because it kind of leads me nicely onto this fog and how I feel like I've come out of this fog all of a sudden. So I feel like there's been this cloud around my life since around September, October 2021. This is when I got quote unquote acid reflux. So for about a year, I was working with doctors, trying to find the cause of my reflux, including having things like cameras put down my throat, blood tests, multiple blood tests. And, the doctors could never find the cause or the issue. And they just said, you know what, it's reflux. You've got GERD. So take these PPIs, which are proton pump inhibitors, and you can get on with life. Now, a proton pump inhibitor actually stops acid in your stomach, okay? And actually, to live a healthy, full life and digest the foods we eat, including carbs and proteins, we need to produce acid. So I was stopping this acid production, and for some reason, the doctors kept going, oh, you're on 10 milligrams, let's put you on 20. You're on 20, let's put you on 40. But when they put me on 40, the reflux got worse. And I was in this fog. My head, if you've ever had reflux, some people get heartburn. I didn't. I got what is called LPR. It's silent reflux. And what that means is that you will just end up having this sensation of something stuck in your tonsils, and you just want to try and cough it out. But the coughing obviously irritates your voice box, it irritates your throat. And what happened with me is it made me want to vomit. So there were times when I was in this fog that I was vomiting up to 8 times a day. And that gave me these incredible headaches. Like, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night because that is when the reflux devil really gets you. I'd wake up in the morning and I'd get on with my working day. But, I had no energy. I ended up not being able to train, not being able to cook for myself. So I spent the best part of a year and a half kind of living off takeaways, if I'm honest with you, not training. And at that time, when the reflux had kicked off, I was doing a lot of home-based coaching. So I had my one-to-one clients and I had my group coaching program. So I was training clients early in the mornings 5 times a week. And I had to stop. And it felt like I'd really let people down. So letting people down really affected my confidence because I enjoyed coaching these women, but not being able to sleep meant I wasn't able to wake up properly or be in sane mind. So I had to let them go and I had to let them down. And I felt really, really upset about this for a long time. And then I was not training at all. The most I could do was about go for a walk at lunchtime. Anyway, so carry on a few months and I'm still on these PPIs and I'm like, there's got to be something causing this. There cannot be anything. So then I found a friend of mine, Nishta, who I'm sure at one point will be on this podcast. And she's a functional medicine practitioner. And she's incredible. She's helped so many people's guts. And I was like, Nishta, this is going on with me. Can you help? We put myself on an anti-acid reflux diet. That semi-helped. And then she told me about this protocol, but she was like, before we do this protocol, I need to do your blood tests. So then I invested in doing private blood tests. And this private blood test found that I didn't have acid reflux or LPR. I actually had something called H. pylori. Now, this is a bug that it irritates the lining of your stomach. And this bug hides away in your lining. So any drugs that you take, it hides from it. And to get rid of H. pylori, the normal medicine practitioners and doctors would say, take this probiotic and these 2 antibiotics. Now, as we all know, antibiotics are not good for our gut. So I didn't want to do them. I did buy them, however, and they cost me £35. But at that point, Nishta was like, no, now that we know the cause, let's get you on this supplement program. I kid you not, after about 8-9 months of being on PPIs, suffering, vomiting, I came off my last PPI on the 6th of August, 2022. By the 10th of August, 2022, I'd stopped vomiting. And I had stopped vomiting and it had changed my life, but not enough, right? So I was on this protocol and I've been on the protocol ever since. And obviously right now I'm not taking as many of the supplements as I was back then because I don't need to, because I have my reflux under control or my H. pylori under control. And at the moment. So only when I need the supplements do I take them. Anyway, so I've had this fog, and even though I started coaching again in, I think it was February now, because we've been on 10-week coaching program. This is our last week actually, and the girls have been incredible, and we've been waking up 3 times a week in the morning, doing our workouts, strength training, the meditation and the mind, body, soul work, and it's been fantastic. But still, I wasn't myself 100%. Like there was a fog over me. But you know what? Something changed, and something changed this week. Now, I walked into the gym this morning after coaching the girls because I had some energy, and I was like, right, I'm going to get on with it. I'm going to go and do leg day. Leg day is my favorite day. A lot of people hate leg day, but I absolutely love it. I love the DOMs that I get after a workout. If you don't know what DOMS is, it's delayed onset muscle soreness. And I love that. So I love leg day. So I walked into the gym on leg day, and I was just like doing a little jig, dancing along. And I was like, okay, interesting. What's going on? And in my headphones, I was playing a song. I got on the treadmill, and for some reason, I just couldn't stop like jigging and dancing on the treadmill. And I was listening to, of all things, a Chris Brown song called Psychic. It just came on my Spotify. And it's a really good song. And I don't know what it was about that song, but it was like at that moment, when that song played, this fog just lifted. And this channel opened between me and the universe, right? And I had a little random, I should do a retreat with my girls this morning. It came out my mouth. And then in the gym, this complete channel like opened, and I downloaded the entire retreat. And I was like, oh my God, I am going to do this. So yes, there is a retreat coming. Anyway, I continued doing my leg session, and I wasn't feeling great. And I was wondering why my physical body felt really tired. So I checked my period app. It turns out that I'm due on my period in the next day or two. So that made complete sense. But I was like, my energy, my kind of ethereal energy, we have my second kosha, my pranayama kosha, the breath energy was just buzzing. It was like there was electrons just like whooshing around my body. Like I couldn't stop dancing. So I left the gym and I came home, and it was the same thing. I was like, right, I've got all this energy. I'm going to just get some work done. I'm going to talk to a couple of interviewees today as well. And it just felt incredible. I got into the shower, still dancing, by the way. And all of a sudden, I started crying out of nowhere. And it was like this one big release of the last year and a half. Bearing in mind, my reflux started in September 2021, and it's now May 2023. It's like over a year and a half. I had this release of, oh my God. And then I just ended up crying so much. And then it was like I was crying for joy. It was so weird. Like I had this joyful crying, but I was still like snotty and stuff. And then I just like in the shower going, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like thanking the universe for finally waking me up. And what I realized was actually it was you guys. You guys did this. You lifted my fog. So me taking a step towards creating this podcast last week and then putting it live on Monday was the start. But you guys and your feedback on the podcast, and that you loved the story and you loved the premise of it and you cannot wait for the next podcast and the next interview that I do. That gave me so much like purpose, and that just brought this entire new energy into my life. And I thank you for lifting that veil, that foggy veil for me, if I'm honest with you. I thank you so, so much for awakening me up to this happiness. I did a lot in that year and a half to take steps towards my healing. I wasn't just healing from trauma that happened when I was 21, which I will get into. I was healing from this trauma, like reflux and H. pylori is a proper trauma. I tried sound healing, I tried cacao, I'd had therapy, counseling, Reiki, breath work, and all of them took me that step closer. But actually, I don't feel like any of them would have worked alone. So for me, it was really nice having like a group of modalities I could turn to, with including meditation, including movement and yoga, that would help me come out of this fog. And so what I want to say to you is, if you feel like you've been stuck in a rut, or you've got this fog hanging over you, maybe it's because of a breakup, or maybe it's because of something at work, or your business, or your family, or your in-laws. Because, being an Asian woman, as much as I'm not married, I do understand, and I've heard stories of how like things aren't what they seem once you get married, right? So if there's something that has been making you feel not good enough, not worthy, and that you've been stuck, then I want you to maybe just take a step back from it all and write down on a piece of paper what you want your life to look like. Exactly what our card said, right? Practice visioning and holding the mental pictures associated with the feeling you desire when you think about your dreams coming true. So write down what your dreams are for the next 1, 3, and 5 years. What do you want to achieve? Where do you want to live? Do you want to move out of your in-laws' home? Do you want to move abroad? Is it the next job for you? Is it a new business for you? What is it that you want to achieve? And then look at that piece of paper. And let's break it down further. Take one of the biggest goals you have on there. Say, for example, it is building your business. That is a big goal. Think about the next step that you can do today to build that business. Is it thinking about how you want to serve in that business? Is it finding the brand name? Is it finding, a venue to do your next event at, or your first event at? Is it just doing some research? What is the next easy step for you? And I want you to do this with maybe 5 of your big goals over the next 5 years. And then just every single week, just try and take one little step towards that dream, towards that picture, towards that vision that you have of your life. And I promise you, at some point along that journey, every single step, so like I did with my healing journey, along every single step, everything that I did eventually led to this fog being lifted. So me starting this podcast last week led to today, that fog being lifted. But had I not had the healing, had I not had the therapy, had I not done the breath work, the meditation, the Reiki, I would never have been ready to do that podcast. I also have a little story about one of my clients that I had, His dream is to have this burger van, a tuna burger van in Bali. His friends live out there and he really wants to be that person who has his own little burger van in Bali. I love this dream. It's incredible, right? And it's such the randomest of dreams, but you know that if something comes to your mind and is a dream for you, it means it's for you and you have every single possibility of making it happen. You just have to take that next step. And so he was like, what is my next step? So we kind of worked on it, and his next step was actually just to simply book in a visit to go and see his family or his friends in Bali. Maybe find the tuna that he wants to, or find a fisherman when he's out there. Just plan that trip, right? That was the next step. And so yes, your next step is whatever it takes to take you to the next step, to get closer and closer and closer to awakening yourself from the fog. I've done it. It took me 1.5 years, October 2021 to today. Finally, the fog is lifted. So, before we end this episode, Let's just take a moment to shut our eyes if we are in a safe space to do so, and take a deep breath in and out through the mouth. And we're just going to say the Ho'oponopono Hawaiian prayer of forgiveness and reconciliation. We're so hard on ourselves sometimes, so let's practice this daily. And it's so simple, you can even write it down afterwards. So just repeat after me. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. One more time and really feel how those words land for you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And just take a moment to rub the palms of your hands together if you've been sat with closed eyes, heating them up and placing them over your eyes. Take a moment to soothe your eyes with the heat from the palm of your hands. Have a little blink, and when you're ready, just take your hands away. Thank you for listening to this episode. And if you found it interesting or useful, please do leave me a review. And if you aren't following me already, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Unlimited Urvashi. I look forward to spending more time with you. I have got some incredible guests coming for you over the next couple of weeks, and I can't wait for you to hear them and hear how deep we dive into some incredible things. So have a beautiful day.